Now I want to use a calculator to approximate the value of a trig function, and I'm going to assume that you can use a calculator. If you can't, let me know and I will put up some videos on that. Most calculators do not have a secant, a cosecant, or a cotangent function on them. So if you want to find the secant, you're first going to have to find the cosine and then take the reciprocal of the cosine. If you want cosecant, you're going to have to do the reciprocal of sine, and if you want cotangent, you're going to have to do the reciprocal of tangent. Remember that you need to see what mode your calculator is in, because if you put radians in for your angle and your calculator is in degree mode, you are going to get a totally different answer. So just tie a string around your finger, something. Before you do any trig on a calculator, always check the mode, because for a while here we'll be switching back and forth between degrees and radians, and you need, if you're going to, the parts where you use your calculator, you have to be able to make sure that you're in the right mode or you're not going to get the right answers. So make sure that you can approximate these values on your calculator. Cosine 48 degrees, cosecant 21 degrees, and tangent pi over 12, just so you can check to see that you did those right. These are from a TI-84. And notice that the first two are in degrees and that last one is in radians, so if you don't change the mode to your calculator, you're not going to get it right. And remember, we said if it's in degrees, you'll see the little degree symbol. If you don't see any symbol, then it's not in degrees. And you could have, say, tangent 21, and it be, if it doesn't have a degree thing on there, then it's radians. It may look odd, but it's still radians. Radians don't have to have pi's with them. And the last thing is to use a circle of radius r to evaluate the trig functions. So if we're not on a unit circle like we have been, then you can still do the trig functions with the ordered pairs, but you have to take the y value and divide it by the radius to get the sine. You have to take the x value and divide it by the radius of the circle to get the cosine, and tangent is still going to be y over x, so that isn't going to change. Cotangent is its reciprocal. That isn't going to change. Cosecant is the reciprocal of sine, so you'll have r over y instead of 1 over y, and secant is r over x because it's a reciprocal of cosine. So if you're not in a unit circle, then you have to be sure that you include the radius factor for the sine, the cosecant, the cosine, and the secant. The tangent, that r factor divides out, so it is not relevant. It's still y over x, and the cotangent is still x over y. Remember, the equation of a circle is x squared plus y squared equals r squared, and you may need to use that to find a missing value. So let's do an example here. Find the exact values of the 6 trig functions of an angle theta if it's on the terminal side is at the point 4, -3. So you can see if that's on a circle, that radius is not 1. But if I use x squared plus y squared is equal to r squared, then I can plug in the values. X is 4, so I get 16. Y is -3, so I get 9. That tells me that the radius of the circle that it's on is 5. So this value right here is 5. So then I know that the sine of theta, and I don't know what this angle is, but the sine of theta would be y over r, so -3 over 5. The cosine is x over r, so 4 over 5. The tangent is y over x, so -3 over 4. The cosecant is the reciprocal of the sine, so the easiest way to do it is just to flip the sine. The secant is the reciprocal of cosine, so the easiest way to do it is to flip the cosine. And the cotangent is the reciprocal of tangent, so just find the reciprocal of this one. And that's how you would find, use a point on a circle that's not a unit circle to find the trig functions. You have that extra step of using the radius value.